What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Keep It Coola podcast. My name is Jacqueline. I got cousin Owen on the show. As always, always happy to have him on. A lot of fun things to talk about. If you're watching this, you see my face. I'm thrilled. The Blue Jays won the ALDS last night. They're headed to the ALCS. Owen, how are we feeling?
Doc, that I see that smile on your face. I feel the exact same. It was a super, super exciting evening. Happy for the Jays and the fans. Gotta say, it was a long season. Sorry, my phone is slipping a little bit
You're
here.
good. You're good.
It was a long season. But you always had faith, Jacqueline. You were someone who was always bullish on this team, so I got to give you your flowers through the
Thank you.
ups and the downs. And you always had your faith in them. I feel like you saw something that maybe some people didn't see. You always love to say the vibes are high or the vibes are extremely high, and
Yeah.
now the vibes are at the highest they've ever been. So congratulations, Jacqueline.
Well, Owen, thank you. I'm happy to be right. I'm happy to prove everyone wrong who was roasting me in my comments on TikTok or Instagrams, telling me I'm crazy. Look at us now, baby. Look at me now. I'm hyped. I'm hyped. Got my rally towel here that I got at game one of the ALDS. Want it all, baby. We want it all, and we're gonna win it all. So thank you for those kind words, Owen. And yeah, I think right first of all, like I honestly I couldn't even sleep last night. I was so excited watching the highlights all night. Scrolling Twitter was such a beautiful thing. Everyone happy. Everything Blue Jays. My whole feed is Blue Jays. I'm thrilled. Nothing about Leafs and Habs, which I'm sorry about your Habs loss last night, but it's hard to feel too bad about it because the Blue Jays, were freaking fantastic. Beat the Yankees 5-2 on a bullpen day, Owen. On a bullpen day, we got the job done. How did you feel going into this game last night after the way that game three went, which it wasn't pretty?
Yeah, so game three, I think you said it well. Not pretty. They're up 6-1. Vibes were high. They were looking great, and then it all fell apart. You sort of felt like Judge was going to kind of turn it up. I know he was hitting his singles and doubles, whatever, but you sort of felt like he's going to have his big moment, and that foul home run was obviously a huge moment for him. And then it's 6-6. They have all the momentum. They've gotten the last 5 runs. So game three was ugly, and then Louis Varland was, I believe, the person who gave up the 3-run shot.
Yeah.
Um, didn't feel
Which
fantastic.
it was also a great pitch, by
It
the
was
way.
also, yeah,
Harlan
it
threw a
was a
great
it was a
pitch. Yeah.
fine pitch, just a better swing, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't feel great going into a bullpen only game. The bullpen has been very good at times, been shaky at other times, kind of like every team. Um, so I was a little bit nervous about bullpen only. But to the guys' credit, they pitched fantastic. Everyone looked really good. Louis was good. Every guy, there was so many guys that went in. I'm not going to start naming every guy, but they all looked really, really good. So shout out to the bullpen and all those relievers. They held it down, and then the offense came up really, really big. There's a few guys who deserve their flowers. I think I'm sure you'll want to bring him up. But Ernie Clement was fantastic. Gotta love Ernie. He was so good yesterday. Um, yeah, it's exciting. Listen, they did what they had to do. I think if you're a Jays fan, it's hard to see us winning this in anything less than 4 or 5. Like I remember coming in, I was like, I'd like to see the Jays win this in 4 or 5 games.
Mm.
I think three was, not the most realistic. They almost did do it, to be fair, right? Because they're up
Yeah.
6-1 and they were close. I guess I'll ask you, Jacqueline, how are you feeling last night?
Like the vibes are high. The vibes are high. They couldn't be higher, Owen. Like, I said, like I couldn't sleep. I was so excited. And so social media is such a bad place most of the time. But last night it was a great place because everything was Blue Jays. The clip of John Schneider with his speech, which is like, oh my gosh, start spreading the news, bleep that. I need that on a T-shirt. That was legendary. Seeing Hazel May in that party room just absolutely handle that like the greatest of all time that she is, with these guys, George Springer pouring beer on her and Gosman saying every swear word in the world on live television.
Yeah.
It was just so fun, and it was so nice. I was watching that with my family, and like we were celebrating. We were hugging and cheering, and had the biggest smiles on our face watching that game, and it just felt so amazing. And yeah, you said already, Ernie Clement, just a guy who was supposed to be a minor league player for his career, signed onto teams, was waived a bunch of times, never really got it going, ended up being one of our biggest stars of this round. He in this series, he went 9 for 14 with 5 RBIs. Like, if you told me Ernie Clement would be doing that a couple months ago, I'd tell you you're crazy. If you told me a year ago, I'd say who the hell is Ernie Clement? You know, it's how? And then the other guy that deserves all the flowers in the world, I think, is Nathan Lucas. Because Nathan Lucas, man, had the biggest hit last night, won us that game. He has
Yeah.
been a journeyman for his career. He's already, I believe, 31 years old. Never really got it going. A minor league guy, was a real minor league guy, up and down, up and down. We get a we get a chance in the majors here and there, but never could stay. And I believe he said before this season he was thinking about retiring, but he wanted to give it another try and see where it goes. And look at where it went. Nathan Lucas last night had 2 hits, 2 RBIs, had the game winning hit in a very clutch moment. He's also a great defender. And so I'm so happy to see this. Miles Straw, also a journeyman hasn't found it, had an RBI last night. It's just it's special stuff to see this team come together. The guys who aren't supposed to, obviously Vladdy, we expect, and we talked about this before, Owen, of what we need to see from Vladdy and what we haven't seen. And I'm happy with the $500 million after seeing him this series because you couldn't ask for a better series from your star player. Vladdy ended this series going 9 for 17 with 9 RBIs. He had 3 home runs in 3 straight games. I'm just really happy for these guys. I'm happy for the guys who weren't supposed to be here and who are here and are now going to the ALCS.
Yeah, listen, you said it really well, Jacqueline. I think I had two kind of thoughts I really wanted to discuss here.
Yeah.
Um, the first is sort of, and we've chatted about him a few times, the Brad Marchand effect, adding all the teams and being like, thank you, you didn't want him, you don't want. That's sort of how I was feeling last night. Like, thank you. Like, you didn't want some of these guys. You didn't want Ernie Clement. You said Trey Savage was this young kid who didn't have it, and the Yankees fans were dunking on him, right? Nathan Lukes, right? There's all these guys. Even not that they don't want Vladdy. I'm sure most teams want Vladdy, but even everyone's saying he's not the guy that the Jays fans are hoping, like sort of making fun of our whole team and all these players. So that's sort of what I was feeling, the Brad Marchand effect. I know they didn't win the championship yet, but
Not
I
yet.
was sort of feeling that pettiness last night. That's my first thought. And the second thing, and I really needed to bring it up, especially because of what I said, I guess a week ago or 2 weeks ago, whenever we chatted about it, was Jeff Hoffman and Vladdy I wanted to discuss. So I'll start with the one that's less interesting. I'll start with Jeff Hoffman. We did not get an answer yet. Jeff Hoffman was fine last night. He still made it stressful. He still kind of made it interesting. I know we had a good cushion, but I said to my family, if it's 2-1 or 3-1, I don't trust Jeff Hoffman. So I still think against a Detroit, a Seattle, or if I'm looking really ahead, a Dodgers, Los Angeles Dodgers, I don't know if I trust him. So I don't think he was horrible by any means last night. I don't think he was great. I think he was fine. He was serviceable.
Mhm.
He made it a little bit stressful, I think, like Jeff Hoffman does. So the jury's still out on him. He didn't have to do much because in the first 2 games they absolutely destroyed the Yankees. I mean, they just absolutely obliterated them. And the 13, what was it, 13-7? It was
Yeah.
closer than it really looked like because they got those runs when it was already over. So anyway, so
Mhm.
Jeff Hoffman, and maybe he's lucky in this sense, he wasn't much of a factor in the series. So the jury's still out on him. Vladdy was amazing. Now it's interesting because the whole team was so good that do they still win the series without him? Maybe. The reason I say maybe is he had a lot of home runs, so we actually don't know for sure. But
Grand Slam
regardless,
included.
yeah, regardless, he was fantastic. He was the guy we needed him to be. Maybe they win the series without him. Maybe they don't. But he was fantastic. He hit 550 or just over 500.
Yeah.
So Vladdy was unbelievable. It feels like he made up for the last month and a half. The
Mhm.
500 million feels like a drop in the bucket if he's going to perform like that. So for me, it's like if this team performs the way they do, I definitely could see myself shaving my head via you. But I actually think, again, X Factor still comes down to Jeff Hoffman because I truly believe if we're in the World Series against the Dodgers, we have a 2-1 lead, 2-2, we're up 3-2. Do I trust him up 1 run, 2 runs? I don't know. So I think he, to me, is still the X factor. I mean, we've seen Vladdy can be great in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Again, it's
we've seen it.
baseball. Guys can be up and down. So sure, he can come back down to earth and maybe struggle. I think the biggest X factor on winning a World Series now is Jeff Hoffman. Can he come in the ninth inning and in a 3-2 game and a 4-2 game and close the deal? Because if not, here's the truth, Jacqueline. You know this more than me. The Dodgers will punish you. Like if you're not careful and you're not pitching your really the best stuff of your career, not even just of this your best stuff of your career, let's say that, like you're gonna be exposed by them, right? I mean, you've seen Shohei at up to bat. It's like as menacing as it gets, right? So I still believe Jeff Hoffman is the X factor and if they win a World Series or not.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people would agree with you on that with Hoffman. I've been a Hoffman defender even when there was no reason to be. Last night, it was a good spot for him, but he still got that strikeout to end the game.
Yep.
Ending a game, ending the Yankees season on a strikeout is pretty awesome. And I
Yeah.
think Hoffman showed that there, where it's like it's a lot of pressure. The game's not done, right? Because Judge scored there and ended up being 5-2 after being up 5-1, and so yeah, there's pressure there definitely. But not allowing Judge to hit a home run is a
Yep.
big deal, right?
Yep.
Because a single, you'll take that from Judge because most of the time you automatically walk him, right? But the fact that he hits a single, we'll take that. And yeah, with Hoffman, I think you want to put Hoffman in, but always have someone there in case. But sometimes that's not the case if you're up, let's say 5-4, right? Then you can't really have a backup. I think they're going to continue with Hoffman. I think it's going to be a little bit scary, but I think he's going to get it done. I think the way that this team has been playing, I think everyone is just kind of putting their best stuff out there, and I think Hoffman's going to be one of those guys who's just going to figure it out when the time comes. And listen, hopefully the Jays can hit so well that we don't need to be in a spot again the way that we have been this whole series, where we don't have to be worried about a 1-run lead, where we can have a cushion there and just have some insurance runs. So I'm confident that Hoffman will be able to get it done if needed, but I'm more confident the Jays will be able to hit a lot more and score a lot more than we're gonna need to need a save really in that moment. I would say, and yeah, just to have like the bullpen too have playing that well makes me more confident as well in a bottom of the ninth or a top of the ninth moment.
I, I also want to point out, still on the theme of pitching, not quite Jeff Hoffman, but someone else who is exciting for the Jays. We're gonna get to him eventually, so I'll just bring it up now. Trey Savage, really interesting because he said he's built for this moment, goes out, has a great game. The angle I'm going to take on this, and I'm curious to your thoughts, Jacqueline, he was spectacular. I don't remember ever seeing a guy pitch that well. I mean, to me, and again, I'm in my 20s like you, Jacqueline, like the best pitcher I've ever watched, probably Kershaw, probably Clayton Kershaw is probably the best pitcher I've ever had the pleasure of watching. Um, I don't know if this is like the old boomer being like, "Ah, you're just a young kid. You don't know what you're talking about. You didn't see, Babe Ruth." So I don't know. Like people might dunk on this for the people who see this, but like I,
Yeah,
I, I don't know if we were robbed of the greatest pitching performance of all time because he had a no hitter. Like there's a big part of me that goes, were we robbed of the greatest pitching performance in MLB history? I mean, I've never seen
yeah.
someone deal like that ever. I don't know if you agree with me. I don't know if how you can even like really objectively look at that because baseball's been around for a zillion years. But I mean, what do you think about that?
I think at least in our lifetime, and especially from a rookie, I think if he stayed in that game, I think we possibly could have seen the greatest. I think you're right, the greatest performance of all time. I still consider this one of the greatest performances I've ever seen, even though he only went just under 6 innings. Listen, John Schneider needed to do that, and I felt fine with him doing that because we didn't know where the series was going to go and if we were going to need Savage. Because if he ended up throwing 100 pitches, you can't really use him again in the next couple days. The fact that he took him out early was a smart thing to do. We were also up 12-0 at the point, right? There's no reason. But yeah, he threw 0 hits. I mean, sorry, he allowed 0 hits, no runs, obviously, 1 walk, and 11 strikeouts. So I think you still consider that one the best. His fourth career start in the MLB, obviously his first postseason start. I still consider that one of the greatest performances we will ever see in baseball from, or actually in any sport. The fact that you go out, you say you're built for this the day before, which is a crazy thing to say, and he showed it. He showed it against some of the best hitters in the major league. So
Yeah, and one of the crazier parts too, and kind of on the theme of John Schneider taking him out was obviously I was thinking, oh, should he have taken out? Should he not? I think the way to look at it, and we've seen this many times in sports, is like risk reward. So the reward of leaving him in is maybe he gets, I don't know, 15, 17, 18 strikeouts. Maybe he gets a no hitter, history. How many times does a guy in their first MLB start in the playoffs get a no hitter? Right. So the reward is obviously history. The risk is you overextend him, you can't use him again. And the really big risk, because it's baseball, is he hurts himself, right? So imagine what the critics are saying. Blue Jays were up 10 plus runs. John Schneider leaves in rookie superstar, rookie pitcher just to try to sort of, I don't know, chase a no hitter or chase history. And it's unnecessary, right? So I think John Schneider did the smart thing. The emotional part of your brain is like, leave him in, let him get the no hitter, let him get 20 strikeouts. I think if the reasonable, good part of, the devil and angel is like, take him out, right? Like the risk is not worth it. So I think absolutely it was the right thing to do. It would have been fun to see him go a little bit longer, but it was the right thing to do. And there's still a lot of postseason left. I don't know if any of us expect him to repeat that exactly, but damn, he has some opportunities against the Tigers or Seattle or maybe even the Dodgers. So really excited to see what he can do up in this next series.
yeah, I cannot wait to see him. He just seems like he's also seems like the coolest guy in the world. He has all the confidence in the world. He seems like a down to earth person. His family was so nice seeing his family there getting emotional, and then he got emotional. Oh my god, I was getting emotional watching it. He just seems like a really cool guy, and he's our guy. And the fact that we are even seeing him play is unheard of because he was drafted a year ago. He started off in single A this year. So the fact that he's able to move on of all these steps, come into the MLB, right? I had Jay's reporter Julia Kreutz on a couple of weeks ago, and we were saying that if we do see Savage at all this season, which is unlikely, by the way, we said it was unlikely, he would be a reliever, if anything. Well, the baseball world said, nope, you're incorrect. He comes up, he starts, and he's a killer out there. He has one of the nastiest pitches out there. His form is pretty wild to see the way that he goes upwards first. He puts his arm upwards first. Crazy form. It's awesome to see, and I think we're gonna see something similar again in the playoffs. I think he's built for this. He rallies off the crowd, and that's a big thing. Home field advantage, which we saw. We even saw in New York in Game 3 when we lost. Home field advantage is a real thing. Crazy fans screaming, shouting, the energy, you rally off of it, and the Jays are going to do that. So I think there's a good chance we're going to see the same Savage again this series.
Yeah, it's exciting, Jacqueline. I'm excited to see him go out and pitch. I assume he'd be game 2 probably, right? Gosman game 1, he'd be game 2 on Monday. Um, yeah, it's super exciting. Um, all the teams left are great teams, so it's hard to kind of say who's the favorite, who's not. I feel like any of these teams can still win. Obviously, I believe the Jays are the first team to clinch, so we actually still have to see who's around in the next,
Yeah.
few days. I guess if we're looking forward, and maybe you don't want to go talk about this yet, so if you don't want to, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a preference in terms of Seattle, Detroit? Have you looked at that at all? Is there anything you prefer or don't prefer? I'm curious your thoughts on that, Jacqueline.
Yeah, both teams there's going to be a ton of Jay fans on either or, whether it's Seattle or if it's Detroit, because Seattle is right by Vancouver. So all the West Coast Jays fans are going to be going there. So it's already going to be packed. And then Detroit, obviously, is right by Toronto, 4-hour drive or so. I've gone there for Lions games and Michigan football games. You have as well.
Yeah.
Very close. So with the advantage of fans, we're good on both sides. But looking at the matchups, I think, you know what? Seattle and Detroit have different things, right? Tarek Skubal, Detroit pitcher, he's fantastic. There's no question about that. He might be the scariest pitcher in the MLB, maybe behind David Crochet, not sure. And then Seattle has Cal Raleigh, big dumper, who is just, fantastic. And I love that guy too. It's a great story. I'm confident for both teams, but a part of me wants to play Detroit a little bit more because we own them this season. We were much better if they're closer together, so it's a little bit easier for travel days. Jays fans are going to be at either or anyways, but I think I would rather see Detroit if I had to pick, but I'm comfortable with both.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think at this point the teams are so good. It's like be careful what you wish for, right?
Exactly.
Sort of, sort of felt the same way with the Yankees and Red Sox. Like I know some people say they prefer the Yankees, some the Red Sox.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter who you get, you're going to get a great team. It's kind of really, really close.
Yeah.
And I know the matchups maybe change slightly depending on if it's Seattle or Detroit. So I guess for myself, I don't have much preference.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just see. I think whoever they face, they're going to give it their best, and I expect a competitive series. I really like how, regardless of who we face, if there is a possible game 6 or 7, it is in Toronto. I think that's really, really
Yeah.
quite nice. Um, so yeah, I'm more
I
just
agree.
excited. It's just
Yeah.
really, really exciting. And I don't know, Jack, and I kind of feel like maybe, it's weird. Like I sort of, and I know I'm switching gears a little bit here, Jacqueline, but the way the Bills won that game one, you sort of felt like, oh, okay, the Ravens might be cursed and the
Oh,
Bills
yeah.
might be a team of destiny. And it's sort of like, is this the time the Bills win the Super Bowl? The Chiefs aren't that good, right? The Eagles are good, but they're not like too dominant. And obviously the Ravens are a disaster. I sort of am getting that feeling with the Jays where it's like, is this a team of destiny? Like the
Yeah.
way they're just beating the brakes off the New York Yankees, I sort of have that same feeling. I sort of feel like, you got a good shot of winning that bet with me, and that would be a lot of fun. That would be a lot of fun.
It's a
So
good bet. It's a good bet to lose, but yeah, I
yeah,
think there's the comparing the Bills and the Jays. Yeah, it makes sense. Listen, the Bills gave Jays a shout out, and a lot of Yankees fans were very upset. But the Bills are Canada's team, man. Like
yeah,
especially Toronto's team. We're next door. We're
yeah,
next door to Buffalo. But yeah, this is just a team of destiny, as you said. Things just kind of went well. Like looking at stats here, Lucas and Clement combined 10 RBIs this series. Judge and Stanton also combined 10 RBIs this series. What does that say about this team? That two of the best hitters possibly could go down as of all time. Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Judge are Hall of Famers, no question. And you have the same RBI record in a series as Nathan Lucas, who no one knew of, and Ernie Clement. Shows you how special this team is because we are able to play a team like the Yankees, play the Bronx Bombers who can hit everything. They hit home runs 24/7. That is what they're known for. Hit just a couple homers,
yeah.
right? A couple RBIs. Two runs last night in New York. It's your home field. That's special stuff. So looking at the Bills and looking at the Jays, a lot of similarities, and I think they're feeding off each other a little bit too.
Yeah.
I think
It,
so.
it's really, really exciting. I don't want to look too forward because we don't even know who we're facing this next
Yeah.
series. Could be obviously Detroit or Seattle. Obviously I think the Dodgers are such a good team. It'd be so interesting to see in a possible, for the World Series if we face the Dodgers for the whole, as they say, for the whole enchilada. It'd be super interesting to see kind of what happens there. But I don't know if we should look that ahead because obviously we got a really tough
It's
matchup
hard.
regardless. So it's just exciting. I hope I'm proven wrong. I came to this podcast many times, Jacqueline, and I said I don't really believe in this team. I didn't even know if they'd win a round.
Yeah.
So they've won a round. So in some ways, I've already been proven wrong.
Yeah.
Um, I sort of don't like. It's hard. See, this is what's annoying. I don't really want to doubt them anymore, and they could totally flame out in the ALCS, and then it's like I
Well,
was kind of vindicated. But I sort of have become a believer. I guess my only guy, and I think it's clear to listeners, I don't believe in is Hoffman. I mean,
yeah.
besides Hoffman, look, Addison Barger had a really tough game three, right? I mean, my family wasn't happy with him. I'm sure you and your family weren't happy with him. He just was not good in game three in any capacity. It was a horrible error. You can make an argument he lost us that game.
Yeah.
Like a guy that I believe in though, like a guy who's been great for this team, a guy who, by the way, I have full confidence in moving forward. Um, Even with a tough game three, like he's just someone who you said to me, Addison Barger, it's a walk off home run in the next round. Would I be shocked? Not really. Like the
Well, look
guy's
at him
been
last
clutch.
night.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. The guy's been clutch. The guy can be clutch, and like any person, he makes mistakes. And we already talked about it, so we don't have to talk about it too much. It's for me, it's just Jeff Hoffman, right? If
Yeah.
Jeff Hoffman's there, I think they have as good a shot as any team. So I'm excited to see kind of what these guys can do and how far they can take this.
Yeah, and like everyone also came alive last night, and I was saying that on my last podcast about if the Jays want to win, we need to see Springer, Barger, and Kirk show up because they have been silent in the past couple games. And we saw Springer, obviously, huge hit, huge run, and also a sacrifice fly, which doesn't count as a hit, but obviously should. Kirky played unreal, made some great catcher, obviously. Some made some great plays there. Obviously, you run the game with your pitcher on a bullpen day, and being the catcher there is a lot of work. And then to also have some of the biggest hits of the game is a big deal. So shout out Kirk, and then Barger. 3 hits. He came alive. So we saw it from everyone last night. And then also, as I said, like the other guys that you don't expect it from, like Straw and Clement and Lucas and Jimenez even. But I gotta really shout out John Schneider for how he handled the bullpen. Because a bullpen day is not easy. Right? You don't have a starter out there. It's one in, one out, one in, one out. And to be able to manage that in a very crucial game is fantastic. Going from Louis Varland, Mason Fluharty, Sir Anthony Dominguez, Eric Lauer, Yariel Rodriguez, Brandon Little, Braden Fisher, and then to Jeff Hoffman. Handling that with such poise and confidence was really spectacular to see, and people love to get on Schneider for managing games poorly. I hope last night he silenced those people because he managed this game perfectly. He knew who to put in specific times, right moments, strikeouts, you name it. We saw it all from these guys. So John Schneider was put on a masterclass on how to manage a bullpen day. And yeah, how did you feel going into the game knowing it was a bullpen day?
Yeah, I was nervous. I was nervous that it was a bullpen day. I wasn't quite sure because the bullpen has definitely been up and down
Mm-hmm.
at times this year. So yeah, I was nervous. I didn't really know kind of what to expect. They obviously all showed up. They all were great. They were managed great. Schneider did a really good job. Um, I mean, yeah, I mean the bullpen was exceptional. I think the biggest thing though, even more than the bullpen, because I just know that the bullpen, it's great. I hope that they continue to be great, the relievers and the bullpen. But in playoff baseball, maybe they'll struggle in a game or two. There's a lot kind of to still be played in the next series or two. I think the biggest thing I learned about this team, really in the last 2 weeks of the regular season and in the playoffs, is this team is deep enough to sustain guys who struggle, right? So if Springer, God forbid, is more quiet, there's other guys that will step up, right? If Vladdy is quiet, there's other guys. I think that's actually the biggest thing I kind of took away from last night and the last few games. Is not even necessarily the bullpen. It was more that we have a lineup that's deep enough, and not all guys with huge names, right? Some guys who are older, some guys who are younger, some guys who weren't wanted by their teams, but it's a deep enough team that even if you have a game where maybe a Springer and Vladdy, your two best guys, struggle, you have other guys there that you can still win a ball game, right? Like obviously in an ideal world, every game Springer and Vladdy play well. But let's say game one on Sunday they struggle. You still have guys like Kirk, like a Clement, like a Barger, right? Like these other guys who can step up and win you a game when your superstars are quiet. I think that's the biggest thing I'm taking away is that this team is pretty deep. Are there better lineups in the MLB? Yeah, of course. I think we'd be kidding ourselves, Jack, if we said we wouldn't rather have the Dodgers lineup, right? I don't think there's
I don't
I
know.
I I listen, I mean the Jays have a great lineup. If you put a gun in my head and said, what lineup are you taking? The Los Angeles Dodgers or Toronto Blue Jays? Personally, I'm taking the Dodgers lineup. That doesn't mean we can't beat the Dodgers in a World Series. I'm not saying we
Great.
can't. By the way, I'm not saying that we can't beat them in a World Series. I do think this team is capable,
Yeah.
right? My only point being wasn't even to dunk on the Jays. My point being is even if it's not the best lineup in the world, it's damn good. It's one of the best lineups, even if it's not the quote unquote best. And the biggest thing, like I said, is you have guys who can step up, right? So if you tell me that Vladdy goes 1 for 4, 0 for 4, or 1 for 5 or 0 for 5 in game one, I don't think that means we lose.
No.
Because you have
No.
guys like a Springer, like a Barger, like a Varsho, right? You have guys who can step up. So I I might I might actually say this. I am feeling just like you, Jacqueline. I might be feeling bullish on this Jays team. Finally, I know it
As you
took a long
should.
time, but I might be feeling bullish on them after many weeks of ragging on them. I think I'm feeling quite bullish, actually.
Owen Engel wants it all.
Yeah, I do.
Owen
I
wants it all, baby.
I
Want
do.
it
I
all.
yeah. I want it all. Um, you know who doesn't want it all? And this is a big switch up. And again, we don't have to talk about this if you don't want to, but it doesn't look like our Giants want it all because they were. I know it's a big change, right? It's a
Oh
big
no, go
change.
for it. I
But
love
but
that.
listen. I gotta say, Jack, that so my brother talked about it on the podcast, huge Bills fan. It was 7-0, and I was more teasing. I texted him saying, "This is how you beat this is how you really beat the Saints. You don't struggle, you don't make it close, you just blow them out." Then it's 14-3, right? Yeah. Hey, Spence, this is how you play the Saints. Next thing I know, we're down like 26-14. I mean, what a
Brutal.
pathetic team. Like I just upsetting. I want to know how you feel because I was devastated watching that game.
You know what? A part of me does. I don't care right now. I love my Giants and I'm hopeful, but this is not our year, and I'm too locked in on the Blue Jays to
Yeah.
like. I'm going to a movie tonight for Thursday Night Football.
Wow.
I didn't realize that the Giants were playing tonight. I wasn't necessarily gonna do that, but
Sure.
the I usually would decide to, I would skip it and go and watch the Giants, but I am too locked in on the Blue Jays to let the Giants get me down. And it's a really nice thing because every year, listen, I love my Giants. Jackson Dart is the future, and I'm so confident in him. Cam Scadaboo is the man. I cannot wait for what this Giants team is going to be. But right now, it's not our year, and that's okay. And listen, I'm still going to watch the end of the game. Like, I'm still going to lock in when I need to.
Yeah.
But I'm too hot on this Jays team to allow myself to be upset by our mediocre New York Giants because to lose to the Saints like that, to Spencer Rattler and that garbage Saints team, which should not like they were what Owen they were undefeated. Sorry, they were had not won a game going into this. The Giants were hot after that Chargers win. There was no reason for this team to freaking lose, but they don't know what they're doing. Coaching is terrible. There's just a lot of mistakes. And as I said, I'm excited for the future of this team, but right now it's all about the Jays, man.
I agree. I agree. It is all about the Jays. The Giants are a mess. I mean, even Dart was a mess. The whole team was a mess.
Yeah.
Darius Slayton was horrific.
Yeah.
I sort of felt like I just had to bring them up quickly.
Of course, you have
It's fun.
to.
You by accidentally said undefeated. The Saints were defeated, actually. Have
Did I
yet to
say
have a
undefeated?
victory. Yeah, no, no, no. You said it, then switched, and I'm just
Oh,
making a
okay,
joke
yeah,
saying
yeah.
actually they're
I don't
nothing
want to
but
hit
defeated, right? They're 0-4, now 1-4. So and it's funny, you say you're missing the game. I actually got scheduled for work tonight, so I am working from like 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. So I'll be
it.
missing the first half or and a little of the second half
Yeah.
maybe. So I won't be seeing the full game either.
But
I don't
are
think
you
there's
upset? Are you upset that you're
no.
missing it?
So in a sense, I'm like, even though the Eagles are a top three team, top two team, maybe a top one team. We're losing. I mean, the bottom line is even if the Eagles don't show up and we show up, like, okay, the Eagles play bad, we play well, so we lose by 4 or 5 instead of 20. That's sort of my
Crazy.
attitude, right? In order for us to actually win, it's like we play our best, Eagles play their worst, and then we squeak out a win. That's the thing. To me, like, you're a bad team because if you said to me in a simulation, right? Let's say the Eagles play their worst game they can play, okay? They make their biggest mistakes, and the Giants play their best game. I don't think we win by more than a field goal. Now, most teams in the NFL, Jack, and I think you'll agree with me, and I know I'm kind of speaking off the cuff here. If you say one team plays their A plus plus and a team plays an F minus, you would think the team who plays their A plus plus wins by, I don't know, 10,
Yeah.
15.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident saying if we played A plus plus and the Eagles played F minus, we maybe win by 3 points.
Yeah, I think you're so spot on with that because that is exactly what we're seeing from this team. And the Eagles, yeah, the Eagles are just they know how to win games. They've been lucky. So there's some moments where they shouldn't have won a game against the Rams, for example.
Yeah.
However, this Giants team is unlucky. I would say we're a very unlucky team. We have been, and so as you said, Giants play their best stuff. We could win it, but it won't be pretty. The Giants don't win pretty.
Yeah.
At least I don't think. And listen, I'm still cheering for my Giants. I'm still gonna watch the game, but I'm not gonna spend my whole Thursday night sitting on the couch watching watching this team. Right? I have plans, and I made them before I realized that they were on Thursday night. If I realized, I probably would have not said to go on Thursday night. Maybe I would have preferred to, do it on a Friday night instead. Maybe, but I'm still the old me would say, "Oh, I can't go. I need to watch the Giants." But I'm okay to miss the first half because the movie ends around like 9ish anyway, so I'm gonna miss a little bit of the first half anyways. I'm not missing the whole thing.
I also think it's worth noting, just on a psychological note, like the Eagles had a really rough third, fourth quarter and lost their last game, so they're hungry, they're motivated.
Mhm.
It's a rivalry. Like they shouldn't have lost that game. They choked in the fourth quarter.
No.
So we're also going up against an angry, motivated Eagles team. I probably think we're going to lose by 2 touchdowns,
Yeah.
10, 14 points. So it should be ugly. We're probably better off missing the start of the game.
Exactly. Exactly. Listen, we're high on this Jays team. I cannot wait for game one. I
Yeah,
cannot wait for this series.
yeah,
Anxiously waiting. It's like it's a party. I wanted to note too that the Yankees fans left early. Did you see that? They were all leaving early. And I'm like, this game is not over. This game is not over. And they were leaving already in what, like this eighth inning or something. I'm like,
yeah.
really, guys? You paid a fortune for these seats and you're leaving early? You don't see that in Toronto. We stay till the last pitch is thrown, even if we're getting crushed. I don't care. You stay for your team, and that put a bad taste in my mouth. But the one thing that I did love, big thing, was David Ortiz talking to Vladimir Guerrero Jr., getting him to say, "Duh, Yankees
Yankees
lose."
lose.
That has got to be one of the best moments that we didn't even talk about earlier
Yeah,
in this episode, but that has got to be like the best moment, in MLB history of getting David Ortiz to say that in front of A-Rod and Derek Jeter, and saying it what 5 times, and Vladdy getting it going too, and that is just like I love that I love that stuff because listen, it's everyone was cheering for the Blue Jays. No one likes the Yankees, so everyone
it
was
was.
cheering for us. So it was really cool to have the world behind us
Yeah.
there.
It
You
was
know?
fun. The Yankees lose. That was a great. I mean, hilarious meme. I mean, I was giggling to myself. I think everyone was. He's right beside two of the greatest Yankees ever. It really doesn't get much sweeter. Yeah, that was funny. I mean, that was funny. And it's like the Red Sox and Jays don't like each other, but it was
Yeah,
kind of like you have a common enemy with us, so let's make fun of them together.
100%.
Um, the question I have for you, Jacqueline, and I won't be too specific, but what are we going to do Sunday night? Because me and you both have an event that might block us from. We don't have to get too specific. I mean, we have a
Yeah,
social gathering with people. It's
yeah,
fine. I'm
yeah.
just curious. Do you have a plan, or we can discuss this privately too? But
No, no.
I did want to ask you, like, what are we going to do about that on
We
Sunday?
have a big family event. Listen, I'll say it. We have a wedding
Yeah, yeah.
we have a wedding. Big family. Very excited for the wedding. We're gonna be with our family. We're gonna have a great time. But I'm gonna have it on my phone, and I think a lot of people will. I'll have it on my phone. We're gonna be having a good time, dancing, celebrating. But the Jays game will be on somewhere. It'll be
I
on
actually,
somewhere.
I actually wonder now. Granted, I don't know if my girlfriend will ever hear this. Probably not. She's too busy. I feel like if it was me in the position, I might just try to figure out a way to get it on the big screen. I honestly, I know that sounds crazy. I'm talking about my own wedding right now. God willing, one day.
Yeah.
I actually think if I'm in the position, I think I would, and maybe it wouldn't fly. It's your wedding day, and like I said, I hope my girlfriend never hears this. I don't know if she happens
Yeah.
to be saying this, but I think I might try to find a way to get it on because
Uh,
everyone's gonna want to watch anyways. So why not just kind of like get that over with and just be like, you know what, we're gonna have it on screen here on silent. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy for saying that. Maybe I'm a sports
Listen,
fanatic,
I'm the same
but
way, but I think we're also lunatics when it comes to sports.
yeah,
I think some people be
yeah,
like, "You guys are crazy," but who knows what we're gonna do? I'm very excited, obviously, but the game will be on somewhere, whether it's on a
yeah,
big screen or it's on a
yeah,
phone. The game will be on somewhere, and hopefully it's a win, and we get to just continue celebrating the whole night, which is already going to be a joyous occasion, which
yeah,
will be exciting. But yeah, I'm happy you brought it up because
yeah,
trust me, I was thinking about it. Don't
yeah.
you worry. I'm sure a lot of people are thinking about it too. That's what happens. Everyone like a lot of people get married in the fall. It's a beautiful time to get married, but
Yeah.
it's a busy time for sports, and a lot of people feel that. A lot of people have felt that. So it's going to be interesting, but I'm
I mean,
excited for this weekend for many different reasons, obviously, with whether it's sports and or wedding of
yeah.
a cousin. Very exciting stuff, but yeah, man, Jays will be thought of. I'm thinking like I have to wear some sort of like blue with my dress. I got to get like
Yeah.
like a bracelet or something, like you like I like you
Yeah.
you should get like a Jays tie.
I'm gonna I'm gonna try to have something that's blue in some sort. The other thing I was thinking about too was I got the call I actually got. It was kind of an important call. It was actually just about just to make reference. That probably doesn't make sense to people listening. We were taping and then we'd stop for a second because I got a phone call. So I'm referencing that because the call was actually an offer to go to the game on Monday. Tickets would be yeah in
Ooh.
the in the 200s outfield, so not the best tickets. 340, so very expensive, $340.
Yeah.
So I'm like debating. I'm leaning towards going. It's a lot of money, but I don't know. Game two ALCS. I think I might do it. It's a lot of money, $340, but I think I might do it. I don't know. I
Yeah, it could be good. Listen, I got my ALDS Game 1 tickets for cheaper than that, and I was
oh,
10th row in the 200s, right over home plate, pretty much. I was looking at the prices today for Game 2. I didn't get. I'm debating, you know what? I love going to games, and everyone should, and the playoff atmosphere is amazing, but I also do love watching at home and with my family. There's something really nice about watching with people you love on the couch comfortably, you get to walk around a bit. So, for the people who aren't going to the game, it's still awesome to watch at home. Don't Dan Schulman and Buck Martinez are the absolute best of the best. Getting to hear Hazel May, or if you're on the radio, listen to Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue. They're the best of the best. So even if you gotta watch on TV, it's great. But there's nothing like being in that atmosphere. Rogers Center, playoff game. You're gonna get one of these babies. Gonna get the rally towel, going crazy. It's a workout though. It's a workout. I was exhausted after game one because you are up and down, up and down, up and down. But I think you might have to go with it, Owen. It's not. Listen, I saw prices that were way more than that this
yeah,
morning.
yeah.
You might have to take it up.
Well,
Listen, if
I was gonna say, and sorry to cut you off, Jacqueline. Like, so 340, 200s outfield, like seats are meh, whatever. But the price point to see, like, I'm not finding better price for seats that are even close, right? Like, I was looking there, I was everything I was looking at was much more, whether it's a one or two ticket.
yeah,
So I think I'm probably gonna do it. I'm just gonna be like, then 340. I'm not a rich guy, God willing, one day. So 340, it's money I could use for many different things. But I just think ultimately I'm gonna do it. Like
yeah.
it's such a great game.
Listen,
So
the memories last a lifetime, and the money will
yeah,
come back eventually. You're
yes,
young, you're working, you're in a good position where, listen, that's what I said. My brother and I were like, you know what, the money will come back, right?
yeah,
If you're in a position, because it's not for everybody, but if you're in a position where you know that you're okay and you can make that money again, you
yeah,
go and you take it and you experience that, because experiencing the ALDS game one live is something I'll never forget. Get being there for a Vladimir Guerrero home run, something I'll never forget. Getting
oh
to
yeah.
see, Judge strike out, something I'll never forget. The atmosphere, the cheering, the singing, the craziness of what you see is something you don't forget. So yeah, if you're in a position to go, you gotta go. You gotta
I,
go.
I think I probably will go, and I will definitely keep you updated. And on the next
Yeah,
podcast, if I do go, we can talk about it, of course. But I
yeah,
have
sure.
to mention this, and I texted you this, and I have zero proof of this besides the one person I was with. When Vladdy went up, and you're going to know in a second what I'm talking about. When Vladdy went to bat, game one, ALDS, bases loaded.
Oh, that
Um,
game two.
was it game two or game one? Okay, it was maybe game two. I don't know what I thought. I don't know why I'm thinking it's game
Bases
one right now.
loaded was Grand Slam was game two. He had a
Okay,
first inning home run in game one though.
sorry. So I
They're
stand
all mixed
corrected.
up. Don't worry.
Yeah,
You're
I
you're
stand
not alone on
corrected.
that.
Game two, Vladdy comes up to bat. I was watching the game with my father, and I turned to him and I said, fourth pitch, he's hitting a grand slam. After pitch three, I said to my dad, I said, let me hold you back. Here it comes. He said, relax, let's just watch it. And then Vladdy swings and hits a grand slam, and it was like we were looking at each other, like me and my dad, almost spooked. Like I said, just to be clear with you, fourth pitch. And he said, oh, what's the count? I said, I don't know what the count is. I don't care what the count is. It's going to be the fourth pitch. Let me hold you back. Crack. Maybe 10 years ago, I was with my brother. Can't remember when it was. And I said to my brother, the count's going to be X. It's going to be the pitch, whatever. This is the count. Edwin's hitting a home run. I've already seen it. It's on replay. Edwin hit the home run. My brother's looking at me like, yo, is it actually on replay? Like, what the hell is going on? Like, did you see this? I'm like, I swear I did not see it. My brother was like spooked out. That was many years ago. So since that Edwin call I
Yeah,
had,
yeah.
this is, yeah, I honestly, Jacqueline, don't know if I ever need to make another call like that again, because the odds of you predicting the exact pitch of a grand
Pitch.
slam is so astronomical, right? Because people, I'm sure there's people out there said he's hitting a grand slam. That's one
Yeah.
thing. I said fourth pitch grand slam. I had
That's
to mention that because it was like
You have
spooky.
to. You have to. Because
Yeah,
I predicted a Vladdy home run in game one, his first at bat, but I didn't say which pitch it was. So
yeah.
like
I
the
said,
my brother was like, yeah, and like the guy behind me was like, nice man, or like whatever.
yeah,
I did not predict a
yeah.
pitch. That did you buy a lottery ticket? Because you better.
I should go buy a lottery ticket because
Should go buy and you can go
it's
to a lot of James games.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. I mean, it was crazy. And if I imagine I bet on something like that, oh, that'd be,
Oh my God.
yeah,
Imagine a
yeah,
short pitch. That's
yeah,
awesome. That
yeah,
that that is awesome. And this is also why the podcast is great because you get to flex those things
yeah,
for how
yeah,
many people want to watch this and
yeah,
it stays forever. So
yeah,
thank you for predicting that, Owen, because
yeah.
it came true and
Good.
we could not be happier. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up here. But before we
Amazing.
go, who is gonna be the biggest name in the next round for us? Who is gonna make the biggest difference?
Biggest difference. That's a
Yeah.
really good
Yeah.
question. Just trying to think here. I think the biggest name for the Jays, probably Alejandro Kirk. Was great at the end of the season. Was great in the playoffs. Um, was great in game one. I believe he had 2 home runs in game
Two
one.
home runs. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's Kirk, big X factor. He's our catcher. Um, yeah, I think he's someone who he's seeing the ball fantastic. He's super capable. Sort of a guy I feel like can be there if for some reason Vladdy and Springer struggle. He's someone who's there. So if you gave me an X factor, I'm going to go with Alejandro Kirk. I think he's a big difference maker. I think if he's hitting the ball well, it's good signs for this team. So I will take Kirk. I'm curious who you think
I
is
like
the X
that.
factor.
No,
Yeah.
but for the Kirk prediction is great because listen, what we saw at the end of this year and the beginning of the playoffs is spectacular stuff. And yeah, like when I'm looking, obviously I predict Springer and Vladdy to have big series. Obviously, I think Varsho is gonna be fantastic because he already was fantastic, but he is one of those guys that never gets the full praise. He's very low key about things. Someone always kind of has a bigger game than him. I think he is just going to be hitting well. His defense already we know is fantastic, right? The way he just slides in for that ball so casually, so nonchalantly. He's so cool. I think Varsho's going to make some big hits in the moment. And I think also all the guys, as I said, are going to do something like a Nathan Lucas, a Davis Schneider, an Ernie Clement, a Miles Straw. I think we're going to see it all, but I think Varsho, that's my prediction. I think other than Alejandro Kirk, which is a perfect pick, I think I can see Varsho hitting a couple homers, a couple doubles, a couple triples, you name it. I'm just excited. And then I think Yasavage is going to be Yasavage once again.
Awesome. I love it. I think
Yeah.
that's also a great prediction. Varsho, he's a game changer, so I think that's another great X factor for sure.
Yes, sir. All right. That is going to do it on today's episode. Thank you all for watching and or listening. If you're listening to it on Spotify, make sure to follow on Instagram at Keep It Cooler Podcast and on TikTok. I have a clip. One of my clips I posted. I post all my clips there as well, talking about Hazel May of how she's just the GOAT, the way that she handled Trey Savage when he had his moment before making his speech. That's at like 80,000 views right now on TikTok or something. So continue watching and go follow the TikTok, but make sure you subscribe to the channel. Don't miss an episode. A lot of episodes coming up. I've been putting out episodes every day. I'm going crazy with this stuff. A lot of episodes, interviews coming up soon. Thank you all for watching, and thank you, Owen, for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Jacqueline. Appreciate it.
All right, take care, everyone. Bye bye.
Peace.